Alright, so either you got an insta-queue or you cut it down for us, which is always appreciated. First thing I'm noticing is it looks like you've got your monitor locked at 144. Can't be too upset about that. If you can get a little higher, might want to do it, but totally up to you. It's kind of a conversation for a different time. Lots of videos on that. Alright, so I've been running a just fine comp to start. Nothing wrong with this that I'm seeing. 2 4 stacks against each other is always interesting though, because less of the game is going to be on you.
Dig.
Round 1. Capture the objective.
I mean, I like making sure you're getting that early alt charge there. Personal bubble first, good call. Generally, I'm going to try and leave out most of the good. I mean, your team steamrolled that fight. You were even able to play mad aggressive, keep your energy up. There's nothing to really say they're good or bad. I don't know what your Ana was doing though. Amazed. At least right there, I would almost watch your right clicks a little bit more. A lot of them came out like a second too late, and it didn't really matter because your team got the kills. Oh, hold on. It didn't really matter because your team got the kills, but you still could have been getting more alt charge, or if there was more targets, I would have been worried that your right clicks were coming out just a little bit too late there. So you don't think I'm crazy. Watch these right clicks that you're using to get these like finishing kills right here. Too late. Now you're stuck reloading. Too late. Like I said, nothing wrong with it. It's just minor gameplay change. That was just fine. I mean, your team over-ulted. So, tough one there. Ooh. Hold on. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, your Grav came out at like the exact same time as Blade. That's a tough one because I can't hear your comms. If you guys were commenting about the Nano Blade, the fact that Nano Blade Barrier and Grav came out at the exact same time is a little bit scary. Thankfully, the enemy team isn't going to punish us, I don't think, because they also committed multiple ults. But not something you would want to do at higher level play, and that's something that's going to be fixed with comms. And you might have talked about it, as you mentioned in your flow. I can't hear your comms. Unlucky for your McCree. That was fine. I would have been a little bit worried about what was going on to my right, the way you boxed that out. I mean, if you... it's always a little bit worrying. You could have gotten punished very hard right here against a more coordinated or better team, but you ended up just fine. Like right there on. If your team hadn't really pushed up, that's a tough one. It could go either way. Yeah, no, 100%. I would have just worked on punishing the Ryan and whoever else was in that room. Right? So, slow this down. Yeah, I mean, you've got Ryan Mora with more damage going on them over here, so you might have actually been able to complete the kill with your Ryan and whoever else was shooting into that room, instead of literally all you did is just work to deplete a sound barrier. And that's micro, but multiple of these kind of things will add up. Yeah, I mean, if you were working to help that room, your Ryan probably wouldn't have gone down because you would have dealt the damage faster. But you did secure 2 kills, so can't be too upset.
I am not a good loser.
Trick or treat. Boom goes the dice.
So I want to see this again. Let's fight, brief fight. You bubbled yourself for nothing at all, and you bubbled your Ryan as soon as you rounded the corner. So this is kind of that mentality of, oh, I see enemies use my cooldowns. That holds a lot of players back. Tough one, because maybe you were just trying to get charge off the fire strike. Maybe you have very fast reaction times there, but if you would have bubbled your Ryan a second later, he wouldn't have taken that charge damage. And if you wouldn't have just randomly used your bubble, you could have stepped up, blocked the high noon, taken more damage for your Ryan. I mean, there was a multitude of possibilities. This fight was probably lost. Your Lucio's about to die and your Genji has already died. But I don't think that you should have used your bubbles as fast. And I think that you just kind of randomly use them. I could be wrong, but that's just what I can see here.
My ultimate is ready. Again, kind of same thing. I mean, if that high noon was communicated
You could have just bubbled your McCree. I mean, thankfully they were all shattered, but as I'm sure you know, high nooning is kind of a risky play. I can't tell, and it's probably because of the lack of comms. So you might have said this, but we all know that Ryan is going to shatter. He did not shatter last fight. He just charged your Ryan and then got some nice cleanup after. I would have really liked to see you or your Ryan be right in front of him. You're both kind of off to the right as far as I can tell, and it wouldn't have surprised me if people behind you had gotten shattered.
Огонь по готовности!
Score 1-0.
Don't just stand around. Do something.
Round 2. Capture the objective.
Sorry, I just need to rewatch this to kind of... I mean, that was all fine there, especially with the Bastion. That may well should go down almost instantly. Did you mean to bubble your Bastion? Not sure. If you did mean to bubble your Bastion, no, definitely would have bubbled the Rhine there. Kind of a general awareness piece, but this was just a waste of time here to turn around and throw a bubble. I don't know if one of them called that they were low, and so you were like trying to protect them, but you didn't have much impact there because you spent half your time going 2 different directions and then randomly turning around to throw a bubble. That was good. I believe you thought your Ryan or something was closer, which is always scary. Again, kind of a general awareness piece there, though. Because I'm assuming that right here, you see your Ryan, so you still think he's right there. And that's why you push up to throw your bubble. You could have got punished hard there. Hey Ryan, what is he doing? Where did he go? Oh, he's on that far right. Again, something that could be fixed with team comps. I can't hear it. A lot of ults. It kind of worked out for you because again they committed ults, but if they were punishing that more, you would be getting punished. I do like, it was very clear, and I noticed this on the last map too, that it was very clear that you are trying your best to stay behind cover, and you're playing cover decently.
I wasted it.
Yeah, that's why it's a bummer that we threw both of our support ults last fight. Not that it really would have saved you. Not gonna lie.
A good loser.
Is that
Your Ryan is definitely playing the solo carry, kill the enemy team style of Ryan right now.
Just a scratch. Огонь! Огонь по готовности! Огонь по готовности!
Yeah, I would have liked to see you hold your bubble for just a second longer. I think you threw it because you thought your Ryan was in danger of the blizzard. He wasn't really, as far as I can tell. And so if you would have held it, he could have swung into that grab much longer. So right here is where the blizzard starts. Yeah, I mean he's already out of the blizzard half a second after. And so if you would have held it just a second longer, you could have been getting off right clicks from here. He could have been swinging longer. It looks like he follows up with the dragon, so it might not matter. We'll see. Unfortunate pick on your Ana there.
back out, get the healers, we need the healers here. Guys, back the fuck out.
Your Ryan does not want to fight without his healers.
Nano boost administered.
Oh, there's no start. Oh, let's break it. Hold up now.
I am not a good loser.
Let the dragon consume you.
Get him.
Down.
Don't hold back.
Score 1-1. Round 3. Capture the objective.
Yeah, I mean, nothing to say there. That was all cleanup. You guys got 2 boop kills. They got 0.
There's only one. Just a scratch.
For where you were standing, what you did was just fine. But I would have liked to see you a little further up with your Ryan. You didn't even have high enough energy to be getting real value out of your right foot. Like, what did you really do from, like, here on? Nothing. Nothing. Maybe a decent bubble and then a little bit of block damage, but you were already too late. Do you notice here, you bubble in and then walk out without the bubble? You should have already been in and then walked out with the bubble. I mean, yeah, that's unfortunate. It's a good angle with the Pharah, actually, because she can deal some major damage there. But tanks just got ran over.
Век живи, век учись.
Someone's got to talk to Tirana and let her know that she can indeed be one-shot by Hanzo.
Get in there.
Wait. Come.
Let's get you healed up.
Again, was it Night Market? I'm not remembering. Same thing. It's kind of, you see red guys and you throw your cooldowns. This is very common for like Diamond, so it doesn't surprise me that you climbed recently from low Diamond to Masters. But what did you really get out of either of your bubbles here? A little too far. Alright, starting here. One bubble. Nothing. I mean, you weren't even in danger getting shot at. Ryan still had his shield up. He was not swinging. That is the epitome of see red guys throw your bubbles. The Ryan bubble slightly less so. Maybe get some charge off of Coalescence, but I still don't necessarily believe that that was a valuable bubble at all, or even that that was really what you intended for that bubble to do. stay in this fight right now if you had bubbles. Yeah, very unfortunate. You could have bubbled your Ryan's Shatter. Then you wouldn't have had to bubble the charge.
A temporary setback.
So like right now, I don't know what you're saying, or if you are saying anything, you gotta be communicating that soft, hard reset right there right away. Because you lost 3, they lost 0, and you guys still have 3 fighting. Not that you can't figure this out, but just, it's good to have a reminder. Also, like right there, you're just feeding the enemy Zarya's energy, feeding their support ult. You have Grav. They know you have Grav. It worked out because Grav Barrage is a great combo, but so now, like, that placement that you had there, that's the same placement that you had 2 fights ago when you guys were defending the point, and I said it was bad. That was actually good placement there. That's how you should have been playing there, because you didn't have that main tank right in front of you, but you were still controlling space, at least slowing down their approach to point. So I actually really liked that there, and I would encourage that there, but I would not encourage that how it was earlier. Lucio. Oh man. Fine VOD overall. Fine. Like I said, it does not surprise me that you're recently out of Masters because you still have some of the worst tendencies that I generally see in Masters. You have to communicate ults better with your teammates. You guys over-ulted a lot of fights. What could have been 2 fight wins, or even a slower fight win, even if you needed all those ults to win, turned into lightning fast wins, and your enemies were back attacking you in a matter of seconds. I don't really want to find it, but I'm not going to. But even like that Nano Blade, Grav, and Sound Barrier, maybe you did need all 4 of those to win that fight. There's tons of fights that go like that, especially when the enemy is throwing ults, but you just won that fight so fast that the enemy team got a whole another team fight that they didn't really need to have. Thankfully, you won that map, so it didn't matter as much, but I mean, it's the fact. So really need to be communicating those ults with your teammates. That said, I mean, there's people top 500 that don't communicate. It varies. But I would encourage you to really be working on communicating those ults. I would also encourage you to be watching your bubbles. I mean, you're playing Zarya. Bubbles are everything about you, at least on a foundational basis. And there's multiple times, especially later in the match when it kind of looked like maybe you were getting more frustrated, having like a rougher time. Your Ana was getting picked off early and stuff. It just really seemed like you were throwing bubbles to throw bubbles when there was very tactical uses like 2 seconds later. If you could have bubbled your High Noon, bubbled your Shatter, bubbled some of the charges, your team would have done better. And those would be my 2 biggest. I don't want to micromanage you and give you everything to improve on, because there's always going to be something for you to improve on, but those would be my 2 biggest. And as far as the good, like I said, you have some really good positioning. There is times where it could be improved, but I really like how you were always moving from cover, pretty much cover to cover to cover to cover. People don't really realize even until they watch some of these grandmaster players and above. It's kind of crazy that they're always moving from cover to cover. If they're out in the open, it's only because they were in between cover. So it's really good that you're doing that already. I would encourage you to continue doing that. And then you say you're really good at alt tracking. I'd like to believe it. I'd like to believe part of the reason that you guys got alted too much was because you guys over alted. But especially on Zarya, if you're good at alt tracking, you're one of the most valuable people to be good at alt tracking because your bubbles are going to block those alts. And your bubbles are going to negate really bad things that were going to happen to your team. So I'd like to see you play to that a little bit more. You were very high average energy. You were just fine on your energy. And so there's multiple times that you could probably save your bubbles when you use them for energy instead to block. Especially right now with like the prevalence of goats, if that continues. Bubbles shouldn't really be used for energy in goats because you should have all the energy in the world. Your bubbles need to be used to block vital cooldowns, so I would really encourage you to focus on your bubbles. Yeah, I think that's about all I'm going to leave this at for now. Good VOD overall. I enjoyed watching it. I always enjoy good Zarya gameplay.